I didn't know that, Anshul bhai. I didn't know
Chat,
that.
the game starts in 1.5 minutes. Ready हो जाओ. ये गेम जीतना बहुत 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 जरूरी है.
Three
रोड
more
to
rounds to
24.
go. 4 more rounds to go today, right? So we're
Yeah.
basically halfway into the first day, basically. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा halfway से.
Chess results, yeah, I think chess results मैंने खोला नहीं था यार actually. Yeah, I was checking it on 2700 chess. But वो ratings उठा करके direct दिख ही रहा है actually. Chess.com is even better. Magnus Blitz rating is 2890, yeah? I think.
2889, yeah. Right. 2880 now, I think. 2889, yeah. 2889.
Anish is super fast. I don't know actually because कई बार ना, like when you feel somebody is losing, you can kind of over push against them, and Anish could do that. And Anish is a guy who prefers solid chess, so it could lead to Anish over pushing in some cases. You never know.
Hmm.
Can Prag finish first? Yes, but I think it will require Gukesh, Magnus, and Duda like lose more than I think they will. Come chance. Yeah, but he can. But he can. He totally can. Like he can finish first by defeating the top three. Gukesh, Magnus, Duda. If he defeats the top three, then he has a good chance. By the way, not to forget, I think अगले ही round में it's Prag against Carlson, as far as I remember, Saj bhai. And we have lift off. It is D4 by Anish Giri. भाई 6 सेकंड दिखा दो मुकेश का. वो कहीं कोई वो प्रीएम तो नहीं लग
Hmm.
फोरकास्टिंग क्या बोलते हैं इसको भाई, फोर शैडोइंग तो नहीं थी ना साज भाई?
Hopefully not, but let's see. Knight
भाई
c3, bishop e1. We have QGD. A very
या बिशप
typical
F4.
sort of solid setup by Gukesh, I think.
The same
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
same opening Anish played against me in the Simul भाई, और मैंने ड्रॉ कर लिया था, तो भाई केस तो कर लेना
Array,
चाहिए.
of course, of course, of course.
Let's hope so.
DC5, bishop c5. Now rook c1 is a possible, I think. Oh, you go CD5. That's also a nice move. Knight d5, d5 is this is a3 is a very very known variation जहाँ पे white को काफी अच्छा chance मिलता है. Bishop b4 check. Okay, knight d2. I think still a lot of games in this position. Black
D4
has
पे I
to sort
think
of
E4.
find a way to play
Yeah.
d4 and white को e4 फेंकना होता है. This is the general idea.
I think Anish not
And
going for the most ambitious setup, ना? Like मतलब you could have tried something more here, but he's like
yeah,
playing a slight edge zone में खेलना चाहता है वो.
typical Anish.
Hmm.
Typical Anish, yeah, in the sense. H3, okay. अब IQ PK against खेल रहा है basically वो. Black को Queen B6 लाना है, Bishop F6 लाना है, exactly. Played on the board. White goes Knight F3, just sacrificing the pawn. If he takes on B2, I think this Bishop H7 checks I'll if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Or is
bishop
this
takes,
yes?
king
Bishop
takes,
H7,
and queen
Queen
in the
C2.
sector of a check, and you pick up the bishop. But of course, Anish played at 6. Now there is no check, so now the pawn is actually hanging.
No, actually, the best move seems to be Rook C1 here, and you just give
Ah,
the pawn on B2 as well, which
and
seems
then rook
unlikely.
c5 with the idea of rook takes and bishop h7 check. So,
Ah, he
but
plays Rook
difficult to play that.
B1.
Difficult to play that.
Very, very calm move by Anish.
I think I'm happy Gukesh got this position because यहाँ पे उसको time ज़्यादा लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. A3 खेलो, Queen E2, whatever, Rook E1, जो भी खेलना, he can play some random moves very quickly. Bishop C2, Queen D3, like whatever the idea is. Like he doesn't need to think for 30 seconds on a move here. So I like that, but the only problem is कि भाई, it's going to be difficult to win. I mean, of course, Gukesh is black, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, but the point is still remains the same, yeah. Position काफी solid है दोनों players के लिए. Bishop E6 now? What's he thinking? Gukesh?
Queen B6 also is possible.
भाई वो टाइम क्यों ले रहा है इतना यार? Is he planning D4
Yeah.
here? Is he thinking is D4 possible? I mean, it's
D4 is possible as well. You can go E4 after that. Right.
And he's thinking that with the knight going to c3, it's ready to jump to d5. By the way, this pawn is a real wedge. It makes it very difficult for this bishop to develop.
And normally when that happens, bishop can be fianchettoed, but after c4, you can't even do b5, bishop b7.
No.
I'm starting to really like Magnus's position here.
Well, you got to play b6. It's not joy.
It's not a good looking move. He's taken on d6. Now just knight c3. What's the rush? Yeah, I want to just play completely dominate positionally knight c3.
Knight c3. The d6 pawn is not running away. Good point. And Magnus believes you. In case of queen b6, knight d5, queen c5.
I don't think your queen's too happy there. Eventually, I'll have a3, b4.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well,
okay.
Turnip, he kind of wakes up to this sense that this bishop on a6.
It's too uncomfortable to sit there and
Yeah,
wait.
bishop on c8, pardon me. It's going to go to a6, but that bishop on c8 was uncomfortable.
He did like the Benko sacrifice.
You just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that is
Take
a
on
peshki.
d6. That's a healthy extra pawn.
Well, especially as they are passed.
What about
pawns.
queen b6?
Pardon me?
Attacking queen b6 for black.
Queen d6 for black.
Attacking e3 and b2.
I probably want to defend the
The two
d2
connected
pawn.
passers.
Okay,
Yes.
but there is queen to d2 as well. Queen
Oh,
to
you don't
d.
even have to give any of the pawns back.
I'm greedy like
nice.
that. Queen d2, knight d5. From Magnus's point of view, if he resets with queen d2 and knight d5, well, the two connected passers just roll up the board,
What if
and
he
that's
gets
easy.
like a4, knight b5? That'll be it.
A queen
No
trade.
question. Do we take or come back queen d2?
I would take the queens off the board, and I would
He's
just
done
say,
that?
I've got a 2-result game. I'll
Two.
defend the pawn. I'll play rook to d2, by the way, just because I am greedy like that.
Yeah, there's minimal compensation for black. It's because of the doubled pawns, but other than that, I don't see much for black.
No. L-
6.
listing the strengths and weaknesses of black's position is not a long list of positives to talk about. I would start to think about this knight. This knight
Would be
I'm
happier on
thinking-
c4, right?
would be joyful on c4 square.
Do you think to play actively on the king side here with white?
No,
right.
because I'm thinking that when I win the game, I'm going to win the game on the queen side. So if I put my knight on c4, I start thinking about bringing my king to b2,
Oh.
going a3,
Just
d4.
to protect those pawns.
Yeah, and just to nurse them up the board. And putting the knight on c4, if I go knight h4, knight f5, then I start becoming distracted. Then I start thinking, oh, I should be checkmating you. That
Yes.
was my great idea. No, my trumps are these guys, a2 and b3.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to start playing on the king side when you have such huge advantage on the queen side.
Exactly. I can win the game.
I like your idea of bringing the king all the way to b2.
Okay, but first of all, I can also positionally increase my positional dominance. And I think this was a very good move, by the way.
And
Knight-
also, Magnus
Whoa,
already
whoa,
has
whoa,
a
whoa, whoa.
2-minute advantage on the clock.
Can I, do I spot a pawn?
Wait, which
Knight
one?
a5 and rook takes d7? I am greedy
Yes.
that way.
Or knight, maybe rook c8?
Okay.
Yeah, it does look like a free pawn. But also
Another
play
point,
knight d6.
another point, knight d6
Yeah.
looks really, really good too.
And he's done just that.
Because you can just follow up with rook d2, maybe knight b5. Remember where I'm winning the game? I'm winning the game on the queen side.
You have such good choices now. Knight d5, knight b5. Hard to
This is-
decide which way
This
to
was
go.
nice. By the way, where does this
Oh,
rook
this is
go? I
just-
think it's going back to a7, and now rook to c2. That
Or we can even start like b4 and start pushing the pawns. They're protected.
b4.
Yeah. And he's playing
By the
b4.
way, the knights kind of cover all of the escorting.
They're also covering black king. It can't even come close to e7.
No.
Completely cut off.
Impressive game thus far by
Yeah, black is just paralyzed
Magnus.
in this position.
I'm keeping the
You
knight.
can play knight c8.
What?
Just a cute move.
Oh my goodness. That is cute. Knight to c8. I've got a knight e7 fork, and I'm doing it with tempo. I thought I was playing knight b5, by the way,
That's probably a
just
better
so I
move.
can play like a3 and knight back to c3. Again, I'm just keeping all, well, just
that's it.
domination, yeah? I'm probably playing a3.
a4 next move also.
Oh, a4
Yeah.
even. Also very nice. a4
Black would
protecting
love
the
to
knight.
just trade one pair of knights just to get some breathing room, but Magnus is not allowing it.
No, Magnus is playing a beautiful control game. It's sort of like a soccer game where white has the ball the whole time. I mean, white's the one. Yeah, I'm playing A2, A3. I'm playing rook D2, and I'm just saying, you can't move. I'll keep you paralyzed.
Yeah, now he can also play knight D5 with the tempo, or A5. Yes, this is such a nice game to play with white.
You just feel...
And Turnip down to his last 30 seconds.
And after rook B2, followed by maybe rook to B3 too. Just making sure everything is super well protected.
Can also play knight D5.
Knight to D5.
I just want to put one rook on the C file if you take on E4, and that's it.
I believe you.
Look at the knight on B7. It's a very sad knight.
I am playing rook B2. I'm kind of happy if you capture on E4, just kind of for what you said. Go ahead and take my pawn. Knight takes E4. I'll put, and then I'll bring the rook to C1, just as you suggested, Nessie. That looks... Yeah, he's actually... he's like, please.
He's like, take my pawn, please.
Do me a favor.
C1, there he goes.
This knight, I'm threatening check, followed by check.
Is not rook C7 just winning the knight?
Yes. What? Oh, he wants to go
he wants to play A6, B5.
That's cruel.
Oh, that's over. That's so over. A6. Yeah. Turnip just gave the knight.
C6.
But how? You still can't stop those pawns,
C6
right?
and rook B7.
Yeah, the black
a beautiful
pawn
control
E4 is
game.
too far away to stop white's pawns.
Magnus, he played a great game.
Yeah.
Just he controlled the action
Start to finish.
Yeah.
And there's
Really,
resignation.
really
Let's
impressive.
Jump to Duda's game because he's very close to winning.
He is playing against Prague, and Duda with
Look at his pawn on B2.
passed pawns. But there is an extra piece for Prague, right? It's the knight on G5.
For 3 pawns.
For 3 pawns. I didn't like the way he said 3 pawns. I was like, oh, that's a lot of pawns suddenly.
Yeah, I mean, now how do you stop B1?
I'm not sure.
It's
I
just
can't.
B1
In
queen?
fact, I can't. B1 equals queen should win the game.
Yeah, you have to just sacrifice your queen. But you don't have enough here. Black has queen, rook, and bunch of pawns.
Absolutely. Well, the weird part was that Prague made a fortress in a previous game with with a rook and knight and bishop versus queen. Now he's desperate to try to make a fortress with rook and knight.
Here there's pawns on the side, and Prague just played with 1 second, by the way.
Did he really? 1 second.
Again, twice in a row.
Oh no! But now he's losing the f4 pawn.
Yeah.
Queen takes f4.
His king is very weak here, so no fortresses.
Not at all. Yep.
I like that king f8 move. He's getting out of the... He flagged. Duda wins. Let's jump to the world champion, Gukesh. How is he doing?
Okay, and he
That was a very
is
important
up
win for
against
Duda.
Anish. It's
Looks equal.
But wait a minute, Anish has an extra pawn, right? There's a B.
Yeah, but it's the extra pawn is on B2. Looks like
So king H3.
they've been moving back and forth for a while. Just check and rook A6. Can white make some progress?
I don't know. It's going to be hard.
I think you'll have to sacrifice a pawn back if you want to activate your rook, like rook D1 or something.
Right? Oh, surprise. Inviting... No, I was about to say inviting rook B4, which would liberate the rook on B1. He did not do that.
By the way, both of them was just less than 10 seconds on the clock.
Rook B... No, rook B4, rook D3. Rook H1. Rook B... Excuse me,
do
rook
we push
G1.
G5? Okay.
Well,
that was
that's...
maybe a little aggressive.
Now the extra pawn is suddenly starting to be a little bit meaningful.
Now white has some play, yes, and activity.
Okay, so... Oh, I was about to suggest rook to b5 there for a moment. No, this should be a draw now.
Yeah, it's still a draw because white's one rook was stuck on f1, so
Exactly.
can't win with just one rook. King f7. But Gukesh can still play faster.
Gukesh can still play faster.
He went down to 1 second.
Rook a2. Rook d2.
Do we just stand with the king? Well, 1 second. Whew.
No.
Gave me a heart attack.
Did he really? He
Yeah.
almost. Oh, whoa.
It's not
Checkmate.
made, right? No. King f6. You start running forward.
But now I can trade rooks. I can check and trade rooks.
Yeah, it's still.
So now it's suddenly chances flare anew.
King f.
A5. A5. Oh, I can't. Okay, I
How do you make
pause.
progress though?
A6.
I asked it at the wrong time.
I'm going to push
Gave
back.
you a very easy question.
Thanks for the setup.
Now
How
we
do
just
you
stand, right?
How do you
Can
make
white's
that?
king come out?
That's the question. Okay, I think Gary is playing quick moves in order to
Yes.
gain some time before he does go for the king f1
Yeah.
plan.
This is our last game. All the others have finished.
And by the way, depending on the outcome of this game, Magnus may be our clear leader.
Yeah, unless Gukesh wins this, which is very unlikely,
Exactly.
Magnus will be in the clear lead.
Well, I mean, when you're playing with 2-second increments, losing on time is
Always
not...
possibility.
Yes, exactly. Okay, certain things are getting a little weird again.
Yeah, if the pawn was
No.
already on the 7th rank, then white king could waltz all the way to the b file. But here it's hard because you don't want to give up the f2 pawn.
Exactly.
So
No,
it is
it's
holding, yeah.
it's an easy hold. I'm a little bit surprised Gukesh hasn't just put his rook on a3 and moved his king around. There we go.
He heard you.
Now he gets the right idea. Just move
Right.
with the king.
But still, like with this 2 seconds, neither player can really gain time. So
You
they're
don't gain time,
no,
do you?
it's too quick.
Yeah.
It disappears way too quickly. So they're both under 5 seconds still. Okay, 2. I think they're repeating this position.
Like, have we repeated this position already?
It's hard to make a claim. He'd rather just keep playing. I think he does want to make a claim, though. And in case it's not correct, then Anish would get an extra minute, right?
Correct.
On the clock.
But that's not the worst penalty ever.
Okay. This is a thermal repetition, actually. We see it. Yeah, it's a draw. Nice save. And Gukesh stops the bleeding.
Wow, it's such an important half point. I mean, that could be the tide that turns his fortunes around.
Absolutely.
But through the magic of television.
Yeah. Let's take a look again how Gukesh made a move with 1 second. It got really close. Look at it.
I'm seeing
down to 2.
3,
His hand is not even moving yet.
And then
How
suddenly,
did he manage?
whoop!
That's incredible, actually. He was very close to flagging this.
Wow. Yeah, the Grand Chess Tour we have seen on numerous occasions where 1 second. Miro,
All right.
take it away.
Well, the game I've picked originally was relatively boring, so let me show this one. Anish against Gukesh, the game you looked at.
Right.
So your opinion, guys, it was about 80 moves game, played in Blitz. So you would expect a lot of back and forth, a lot of mistakes, a lot of things.
Look at that accuracy.
Precision, 98.4, 98.3. And my version of it is the last time Giri had the real chance was on move 18. All right, so that's a relatively known line of the Queen's Gambit. H3, according to my database, is a new move. I imagine somebody has tried it and, you know, against secret computer or something, but it's not as popular. Bishop f6, knight f3, h6, rook to b1, defend it. Yeah, by the way, you would think you can take, but then white can capture on h7. Go queen c2 or b1 if you feel fancy. take it back, and usually that's very bad for black because you've lost a very important pawn which defends the king. Anyway, so h6, rook to b1, a5, a3, stopping knight b4, d4, and that's normally how you try to get rid of this isolated pawn with black. d4, e4, rook e8, and this is where white, I guess, misplays it slightly, even though queen d2 looks so natural. Queen d2 and this rook.
More rounds, 7,
I
8,
think
9.
5 game की उनकी वो बनी streak winning की, 5 game की loss की, and now he drew one.
But Gukesh has a very good score against Firouzja, right? Especially in rapid. I think he has a very good score against Firouzja, if I remember correctly.
मैं याद नहीं है कब खेले थे rapid last. I don't remember actually.
I remember also reading this in chat somewhere that people were saying that Gukesh has a very, very good score against Firouzja. I can take a look on my own. But I think I do remember reading something like this.
Yeah, Magnus suicide is very important, and ये golden chance है for Gukesh, right, to win this game, and then if they draw, then he gets first place again. Like what we ideally want is now a competition. Like Gukesh should start winning, and then Magnus wins, Duda wins, and they kind of chase each other, right? That's the perfect end to the event, and जो भी जीतेगा वो last में होगा.
Actually, no.
So,
Gukesh did beat Firouzja in last year in this tournament. He did beat him in the Blitz. Gukesh ने हराया था उसको, तब भी नाइट F3 खेला था Gukesh.
got it. I think चलो at least points तो आए ना, at least that will give some confidence. Let's hope he continues.
जी आपका ब्लिट्स और भाई फीडे में बुलेट रेटिंग तो नहीं होती. ब्लिट्स रेटिंग मेरी बहुत कम है भाई, 2400 कुछ है, बहुत कम है मेरी ब्लिट्स रेटिंग.
एक बंदा कहता गुकेश हैज अ वेरी गुड स्कोर अगेंस्ट फिरोजा इन टेबल टेनिस. व्हाट? पर टेबल टेनिस ही करवा लो भाई फिर. आई थिंक that's fair. Norway also same happened. Yeah, Norway में last round तक we didn't know who will win, right? Because all 4 players had a shot. Like Magnus, I think it was Caruana, Prague, and Gukesh had a shot for first place till last round. So यहाँ पे फिलहाल क्या हो रहा है कि अभी तो I think फिलहाल के लिए Magnus is already like looking like the favorite, and we are far away from the end of the tournament.
तो आज भी नाइट F3 पक्का है साहिल भाई?
I think so. Yes, I think he has to continue. Like I don't think
But
Knight F3.
you see, considering the fact that he beat Firouzja with Knight F3 last year, I think probably he's more inclined to play it now. But I think he should switch. I think he should go for E4 or D4.
But Future would have also prepared against it. I don't think maybe he will like.
He would look at Knight F3. ज़्यादातर Knight F3 में ही देखा होगा because Gukesh has only played Knight F3 in this tournament. tournament. In game से ऐसा लग रहा था कि he was trying to push tie break, so maybe he was better prepared for that. But you never know, यार. You never know. That's a big what if. But वैसा हुआ नहीं, because classical में ही खत्म कर दिया गुकेश ने. So we never know.
या बाजट इंडिया ने 607 रन की लीड बनाई है एंड दैट्स व्हेन दे हैव डिक्लेयर्ड. सो 608 रन बनाने हैं इंग्लैंड को. साज में क्वेश्चन फॉर यू व्हिच इज मोर डिफिकल्ट, ठीक है, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट Because better against Caruana, Firouzja better against Gukesh, and Carlson better against Duda.
Carlson already better. Wow.
Slightly. Halka. Ye -2, -0.3. Oh, wait, knight d4?
Is it hanging though? Knight b3?
Takes. Is it really compensation
Takes,
for a
queen
pawn?
takes, rook e8. I'm guessing at some point, like you will allow bishop d5 and then you have light square issue or something like that.
He grabs the pawn. Firouzja ne kaha, bhai, thank you. Wait, knight f3 back? Okay, that's
Black भी
like
वापस चला गया.
like playing knight d2 takes knight f3 knight c6. भाई ये क्या है भाई? Same position just a pawn down.
Repetition ना, repetition था भाई, repetition था.
भाई ये
गुकेश ने
क्या
मना किया.
repetition है यार?
Repetition था, गुकेश ने मना किया.
भाई
We'll go with
repetition
that.
देखो. Imagine in slapping terms, चाटा मारा, दूसरे बंदे ने पीछे हट गया, उससे वापस भी तो मारना है, तभी repetition होगा भाई.
ट्रू भाई, ट्रू. किसी ने बड़ा इंप्रेसिव होता है, गेलफांड की पीक या राकेश की पीक? साहिल भाई, you tell us.
राकेश की
गेलफांड.
पीक? Wait, did you put
गेलफांड पीक.
Rakesh Kulkarni and girlfriend in one sentence in terms of chess rating?
That's what Yash bhai just asked.
I mean, राकेश भाई मस्त है, but I mean chess rating के हिसाब से मतलब कुछ unfair comparison हो गया भाई. I think
भाई
राकेश भाई
राकेश
के
भाई
साथ.
सुन रहे होंगे तो सॉरी भाई. सॉरी भाई, ये धोखा दे रहे हैं. मैंने नहीं दे दिया आपको धोखा देने.
Hey, come on, सोच वही रहते
It
हैं आप
wasn't
भी.
it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. मैं बस सोच रहा था, मैंने कुछ बोला
भाई
नहीं.
by the way, black is better already. Sahaj again, वो free का pawn देना काम नहीं आया.
It was actually worse even before. This whole CD6 business was a bit strange. Yeah,
This
90.
is
Bishop h1. I'm thinking this g5 is just asking to be pushed, the move g5. It's just asking.
exactly because
Screaming
if you
to
take,
me.
I can even under my pawns and then I'm simply like completely winning. Or you go back, which is not really what you want to do.
Okay, he goes knight e4. I'm so scared now. Some knight f2 sacrifice, some knight g4 maybe incoming. And the moment you go bishop takes e4, you are saying goodbye to your light square. So that you can have a long-term problem around the king.
Yeah.
Your kings will be unsafe for the duration of this game as long as there are queens on the board. Actually, even if there are no queens on the board, still you will have problems with king safety if you take bishop e4.
I think ये d5 pawn चाहिए साज भाई. ये pawn मुझे चाहिए, मैं लेके रहूंगा भाई. And कुछ भी हो जाए, आप रोक नहीं सकते.
So what about g5 now, Sahil bhai? G5, bishop e3, knight c4.
g5, bishop e3, knight c4. Wow.
गई है
भाई
तो
ये
पोजीशन.
pawn दे दो ना यार प्लीज. प्यार से पूछ रहा हूँ भाई.
g5 queen d5 is possible क्या?
What?
Oh no, knight f6, knight f6, knight f6.
हाँ, knight f6 actually.
And you win,
knight
and you win
f2 भी
f4.
कुछ होगा पता नहीं, but yeah. और knight
Knight
directly,
c4.
okay.
Queen. That's a nice move by Gukesh. Nice move. Very nice move.
Yeah.
Because now he's playing. Yeah. Wait, g5 खेला तो?
G5 apparently b3 is the move.
Do you think he's seen this?
हाँ देखा है भाई. Of course देखा है. Because chat कोई square नहीं है. G5 के बाद bishop has no squares basically. You have to do something about it.
Queen d. Maybe queen d5 also is working, Sahil bhai, after g5.
G5, queen d5, knight b6.
Nah, never mind. It doesn't work.
Oh.
Damn. Yeah, this is bad. By the end of the tournament, what do you think your position will be? He will be top 3, I think. He's still top 3. Hopefully he can maintain this. There's still a 2-point difference between him and the next person. So I think
by the way,
it
Magnus is already clearly better now against Duda. So he's slowly but surely grinded out. He's moving towards another win. By the way, b3 now is the best move.
Nice. Let's hope he finds it.
Come on, Gukesh. Bishop e3 is also possible, but as you can understand, giving your opponent a structure like this has its problems at some point. Best is b3.
So you have to play fast because against someone like Firouzja, you cannot afford to be having seconds on the clock. You just cannot.
Agreed. b3 played. Nice move. Chat, by the way, Wesley So is crushing Anish Giri right now. So he's completely winning. Time pe aa gaya hai. That's good news. That's amazing news. Meanwhile, in the Prague game, Sahaj, what do you make of this position? Kitne sare pawns upar hai bhai? What's happening in this, pawn storm or I don't know, pawn avalanche or whatever this is?
It's a crazy position. Black's knight is better placed than White's knight.
Haan.
I'm guessing that's why Prague's position is slightly more preferable. But it's like one wrong capture by Black and the position can really turn. So it's a complicated position. Like less pieces on the board, but still very complicated, I would say.
Yeah.
H4, very nice move by Prague. Very nice move. Now he avoids G3 and now he can maybe have some Queen E7, Queen G. Really? I'm thinking D5 is also not bad, right? Because Queen E7, Queen G5, you can put some pressure on the G file. That looks good. He still has a good position, I think. I like it actually.
Queen G5 incoming, some sort of at least optical attack, yeah? Might not work, but at least puts pressure on Caruana.
G2 पे है, H2 पे pressure है,
Oh, mistake by Caruana! Queen G5 is apparently very strong now.
Very good. Queen G5, King H1, I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
King H1, King H2, whatever, and then Rook A D8 because you can't take. There is mate in one. Now Rook A D8 is very strong. I think Prague could win this. Prague could win this.
That means Prague is actually closing the gap between him and Gukesh for sure.
Yeah, if he wins, he'll be 1.5 points. And if Gukesh loses, of course. Meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen is completely winning. So he's going to go to 16 points now, stretching his lead further. He's winning the black pieces. Duda piche reh jayenge unless Gukesh wins as well. Can he pull off the impossible? Queen exchange ho chuki hai. G5, B3 takes, A6, bishop takes. This is the current position, chat.
D takes, knight D6, rook D8, and the knight is going where? Yeah, rook D8.
C5.
C5, B6 probably.
Oh, this is not easy, huh?
हल्का सा रिस्क है यहाँ पे, हाँ, हल्का सा.
It's the bishop, yeah. It is very uncomfortable, to be honest.
Actually, there are no queens on the board, but still White has to be a bit careful. Like probably you should go GF4 at the right point, but your hand will hesitate before taking it because you're opening up that G file completely. Maybe some King H7, Rook G8 check ideas.
Rook C7, क्या?
Then E4 pawn is hanging. C6 पे I think Rook D6 मर रहा है साहिल भाई.
C7?
Bishop C8.
अच्छा बिशप को तो भूल ही गया था मैं एक्चुअली भाई.
बचा भी रहा है ना भाई. बचा भी रहा है
भाई. ये दो काम कैसे करता है भाई? सोहम पारेख है क्या ये? चार काम कर रहा है. ऐसे अच्छा लगता है एक ही काम कर.
Exactly. All arounder, all arounder.
इसका नाम है सोहम पारेख. By the way, 30. Oh, he attacks the E4 pawn. If you take this, I pick up this. That's I think a decent trade for Gukesh. बस king थोड़ा safe हो जाएगा. Bishop E6. Okay, where do you move the rook now? Rook takes E4, pawn takes, knight F5. Only move.
Okay, now Gukesh can play for a win maybe. Actually, no, maybe a bit too soon. Okay, but Gukesh ki ab comfortable lag rahi. Isn't he a pawn up? Yeah, he's a pawn up. So unless Firuza makes some blunder. Oh, that's a mistake.
Knight H6 now.
Yeah.
Apparently. King H7.
Knight F5 back, of course.
Rook H4 apparently is the strongest move.
But why not Knight F5?
F5 also decent, yes, also decent. I think C pawn is the trump card, yes? These pawns
A
are the
pawn.
trump cards.
I would say A pawn, bhai. I want to play bishop B3 and then exactly, and then I want to play A pawn down.
Oh, rook E1 only move, of course. I mean, obvious move. Oh, 2 seconds, Avisha, 2 seconds. He played on 2 seconds, one move.
Gukesh also in time pressure now. This is a huge issue.
You see, at least dono time pressure mein hai. At least, by the way, he has some sort of draw here with checks if he wants to. Some sort of A4 only move by the way, Firuza ke liye. He finds it. Ooh, this is getting tricky, chat. Oh, blunder! What? Rook D4 only move. Oh, he misses it.
Oh, I mean, I think anyone will miss that. Anyone will miss
Rook
that.
C1 khelna tha tabhi. He's gonna lose. He resigns. Over.
Anyone will miss that. I'm telling you. He lost.
Gukesh loses. Let's go to Prague's game. They have drawn. So Prague has already drawn, chat. So that he gets half a point more, but Gukesh loses 6 out of 7 games, Sahaj. I don't know. Magnus, by the way, is still playing.
Yeah, if you can just go back to that. Okay. Maybe we can finish the live games first.
Yeah.
Wait, Magnus is drawing.
Yeah, I think he messed it up, but he's still I think having some chances, maybe 3 points.
We're doing that rerun of the rapid match between these two players when Magnus was trying to push for so long.
And then blundered, yeah. But 4 pawns
अब तो
for a
बच गए.
piece, 3 pawns for a piece now. I think now it should be.
ये तो easy draw है. King H4. ये तो easy draw है.
Okay, you have to be careful though.
By who? Who has to be careful?
I think white, no?
Yeah. Black.
Okay. Easy draw. Easy draw. It's easy draw. Yeah. Bishop C1, Bishop B3, whatever. Doesn't matter. So Magnus will go to 15.5. Gukesh se 1 point aage. Chat. Yeah, we'll complete the game, of course. Don't worry, chat. We'll complete the game. I think ये game खत्म हो जाए एक बार. Magnus gets half a point there against Duda. Duda also gets half a point. So Duda is now on 15 and third place. Where Gukesh Raj bhai? He's in third place already.
Wow. Crazy.
I think chat basically ये position में A3 was the only move for black. यहाँ rook C1 खेलना था. So there are two ways to stop this pawn. One is rook A5, one is rook C1. Rook C1 was the way.
चल भाई आपका कैमरा.
ओ मेरा कैमरा तो आ जाएगा. उसको पहले चालू करता भाई कैमरा को.
But yeah, if we just what Sahil is trying to say is that in that position, it is very normal to put a rook behind the pass pawn. ये हम बचपन से सीखते आते हैं. And he had like some less than 10 seconds on his clock, and he had to choose whether to put his rook on the first rank or whether to put the rook behind the pass pawn. And when you are in doubt, you just go back to your intuition. जो बचपन में सीखा होता है. So he missed in this specific situation. He missed that it was not working actually. It just wasn't working.
Yeah. And यहाँ पे rook A1 खेल सकते थे simply, so you would have saved the day. But this just turned out to be a nightmare. Yeah. In the actual game, like he played rook A8, but it just didn't work.
Sadly, this was very sad.
साल में सैटरडे को तो हम लोग फन करने वाले थे यार. फन मिसिंग है थोड़ा सा.
Yeah, but at least Prague is having a good tournament, which is a good sign.
Yeah. I think Gukesh Prague का भी होगा last round, so that's gonna be very interesting.
यार गुकेश वापस 25 हो गया साहिल भाई.
अरे यार मैं सोचा था कि यार कम से कम 100 पॉइंट बढ़ाया गुकेश इस टूर्नामेंट में. तो आपने
मेरे को भी लग रहा था यार. पता है मेरे को भी एग्जैक्टली ये लग रहा था. मुझे भी मेरे को भी लग रहा था. पता नहीं क्यों.
He gave us too much hope actually with how he played rapid, but okay. Just to show you the actual position, rook A5 खेला उसने, and the problem is simply A2 now, and whatever you play, I think black का pre-move है rook D4 and rook A4, and you resign. So, and there is no defense. आपको basically पूरा rook देना पड़ेगा pawn के बदले.
Probably what Gukesh was expecting was he will play rook C8, rook C1, but उसने king D2 से defense है मेरा. So, yeah, it's sad.
Chess is hard, भाई. Chess is hard. As my childhood coach used to say. आपका कहता था F pawn मत छुओ, मेरे कहता chess is hard, भाई. रुको अभी संडे बाकी है. हाँ भाई संडे भी है.
They're both sound advices, I have to say.
Yeah. And now, as we prepare for the next round, it is Caruana against Gukesh. So Gukesh is black. Sahaj, before we come to the Prague's game, what are your predictions for this game for Gukesh? Win, draw, loss, chat. What do you think? Gukesh black against Caruana.
No idea. This is looking like a very, very bad day for Gukesh, and let's hope like he can pull off these two games without having a loss. That's what I'm hoping for. Prague ke saath I think would be the most crucial one because because he's also playing with the white pieces. यहाँ पे is black, so you never know.
But okay, chat तो maximum लोग loss लिख रहे हैं भाई. We went from win to loss in 2 hours भाई. So that's hard. But I think for this round, the exciting game is actually not the Gukesh one, but it's actually Prague against Magnus. Could Prague have a resurgence? Because Prague also has had a decent blitz section so far. By the way, Firuza crossed him right now, but if Prag wins, he stops Magnus. He's helps everybody above him. He also helps himself. So अच्छा मौका है Prag के पास, and of course he has the white pieces. So a golden opportunity for Prag to beat the world champion. Sorry, beat the GOAT actually. मैंने तो देख के भाई world champion दिमाग में आता है कई बार.
What is going on today? Why is he playing like that? Why? Because Rapid and Blitz are completely different. How you play is completely different. Your approach is completely different. You're playing more on intuition. Many things, I think, that are different in this scenario. And I think also because Gukesh बहुत ज़्यादा, I mean, he relies a lot on calculation as well. And in Blitz, you just don't have that much time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just sad. But yeah, let's see.
Hard
Sahil
भाई,
bhai, I'll
hard.
just be right back in a minute. BRB.
हाँ. अरे बाप रे भाई, BRB तो हो गया भाई. Rest, it's the mindset rest, right? I mean, sure, the rest would help, but it's also additional cost for the organizers. It's also, like audience ko gap lena hai. You can end the tournament on a weekend. I think it just makes more sense to have it regularly, like lagatar. Classical chess is more tiring, I feel. Rapid listening, you can sometimes play for fun. So it is tiring, but it doesn't take that much of a toll on you. So लगातार करना is best, I feel. Even Friday ने वो
Classical
World
chess
Abyss
is
में,
very tiring.
हाँ, और फ्रीडे चेस ने किया था ना यार वर्ल्ड अबिस में, दे टुक अ 1 day रेस्ट एंड देन न्यू ईयर्स ईव को हम लोग स्ट्रीम कर रहे थे भाई, लिटरली, मतलब इट वाज न्यू ईयर्स के टाइम पे, लिटरली इट वाज रिडिकुलस, आई फील. सो आई थिंक यू
मेरे
जस्ट काइंड ऑफ,
रात के 2 बजे खत्म हुआ था और आपके आई थिंक सुबह के कुछ तो 5:30
सुबह के
6:30
7
बजे
बजे
कुछ
खत्म
खत्म.
हुआ था भाई, लिटरली, वो
समथिंग लाइक
मतलब
दैट.
लाफेबल, मतलब वो अजीब था भाई, लिटरली, कि यू हैव अ रेस्ट डे फॉर सम रीजन. तो आई थिंक ये लगातार होना बेस्ट है.
बट इस बार ऐसा नहीं होगा ना, आई थिंक वर्ल्ड रैपिड एंड ब्लिट्ज में, बिकॉज
हाँ, इस बार नहीं है.
इट्स नॉट इन न्यूयॉर्क.
हाँ, एक तो
सो
इट्स इन, आई थिंक कतार में है ना शायद.
कतार में, आई थिंक कतार में,
हाँ,
आई
एक तो
थिंक सो,
टाइम
दोहा.
जोन भी अच्छा है, एंड ऑल्सो इट्स 5 days in a row. So that
हमारे लिए
will,
अच्छा है, सो यूएस के लिए अच्छा नहीं है बट हमारे लिए अच्छा है.
आपके लिए भी उतना अच्छा नहीं होगा भाई. अरे आपके
क्यों?
अच्छा होगा, हाँ, कतार इज टुवर्ड्स
मेरे लिए
वेस्ट,
तो
हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है,
या
इट्स
इट्स द
इट्स गुड
सेम है
फॉर
ना.
यू. आई थॉट ईस्ट की तरफ, वेस्ट की तरफ, मैं भी क्या हो गया, मैं ज्योग्राफी भूल गया हूँ भाई.
इट्स ओके भाई, इट्स ओके. मैचेस देख के थोड़ा खराब लग रहा है, बट या.
या आई थिंक ये गेम पे आई थिंक विल फोकस कंप्लीटली ऑन प्लग एंड मैग्नस, आई थिंक इसमें कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. सो आई थिंक
कोर्स.
Gukesh was leading, I think, so our focus was completely on Gukesh, but I think right now Prag Magnus is an important game. And then we'll of course check Karuana and Gukesh, what happened there. It's a very important game still, because even right now I think among Prag and Gukesh has the better chance. Yeah, 2 points
फॉर
आगे
श्योर.
है वो. Now if Prag wins both, Gukesh loses both, then it's completely even. But as of now, भाई, I hope उसके 9 में से आधा पॉइंट नहीं होगा सहज भाई यार गुकेश का. That will be really sad.
That will be yes. Yeah, definitely, definitely yes. And next 2 rounds भी यार उतने easy नहीं है यहाँ पे, ऐसा है ना, because it's like you don't get easier rounds because everyone is just a beast.
Yeah.
So yeah, now he's playing Caruana and then he plays Prag with the black pieces. So both दोनों games बहुत बहुत वो sorry Prag with the white pieces, but still दोनों games बहुत difficult होंगे.
Who is
And Prag के
monster
साथ वो
player Gukesh?
rematch भी, Prag के साथ भी वो
हाँ,
rematch देखना है यार, वो जो टाटा स्टील वाला हुआ था. That was
हाँ,
amazing. I
हाँ,
have to say, like,
हाँ.
that was my highlight I think for this year. Like that Prag
Really?
versus
Wow.
Gukesh का जो highlight था, that was my highlight. I think that
Nice.
was beautiful.
Nice.
बहुत बहुत मजा आया था वो देखने में. Who all was here from the chat? किसी को याद है वो मैच?
Carlson, by the way, 2891 rating है उनकी. Wow.
And now he's not
Tournament
stopping.
double with Stone, ये क्या है भाई?
Oh, so many people were there, bhai. Nice, 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 nice. And that definitely was for the highlight for me. भाई बहुत बहुत मजा आया था वो मैच, especially that ending at the end, that night point ending. I think it was or something. It was really cool.
2900 loading. Yeah, he can at least do it in. He's done it before actually in Blitz, so it's not the first time, but can be done again.
Mhm.
So if he does 2900 Sahaj, I think 50% of his ratings will be 2900 plus, right? Because freestyle 2900 है, ये भी 2900 है, and then rapid or classical रह गया बस.
हम्म. फ्री स्टाइल में तो सबसे पहले हुआ था वो 29. एक्चुअली नहीं, ब्लिट्स पे हुआ था सबसे पहले. ही वाज 2980.
हाँ, हाँ,
By
हाँ, हाँ.
2980 in Blitz. Like, can you imagine how crazy that is? Like that's inhuman. That's inhuman,
That's insane.
like
That's
level of
insane.
play.
That's insane.
Like 3000 is literally like 20 points away. What? That's insane, yeah.
By Ukesh is 2986. Why? That's insane. Ukesh is 25 what? 25?
सहज भाई, Magnus versus Stockfish, choose one honestly. भाई ये तो यार मतलब it's not a fair question. Of course, Stockfish is stronger. Stockfish is like 3700 or so in CCRL ratings, if I'm not mistaken. मैं चेक
I
कर लेता
am
हूँ.
2800 in Blitz. Tikku bhai, how do I stop using
Yeah,
it? What?
by Stockfish is 3644 in classical ratings. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Sahil bhai, do you know who is the second strongest engine in the world right now? आपको मैं 5 cases देता हूँ, आप नहीं guess कर पाओगे.
Kuch fire.
No,
Leela.
Fire was there actually. Very very nice for knowing that Fire was there before, but he's
Leela.
actually not even top 10. No, Neela's not there.
आप बता ही दो भाई. कैसे नहीं करना है.
It's I don't think it's something you've even heard of before. It's called Torch.
हाँ, टॉर्च है फ्रॉड. हाँ, टॉर्च है फ्रॉड.
I mean, it's a so straight. Only 11 point difference between Stockfish and Torch. But yeah, 3644 is the rating of Stockfish. It just goes to
भाई
show.
चेसकॉम के आंसर पेज पे भी अवेलेबल है भाई वो टॉर्च, लिटरली.
Hmm.
तो
Acha. Nice, 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 nice. Nice plug there. Love it.
आई थिंक आज तो गुकेश भी पजल रश करेगा भाई, सो चैट आपको भी करना चाहिए, बहुत जरूरी है. सी दिस व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू डोंट डू पजल रश, बेसिकली वही मिसिंग है आज. फिडेची वर्सेस गॉथम चेस, अच्छा वो वाला सटोस्की वाला नहीं, आई थिंक यार वो तो ऐसी ही वाज जस्ट काइंड ऑफ, इट्स अ संडे ट्वीट, ही पुट इट आउट कंपेयरिंग टू पीपल. आई मीन करने दो ना यार, ट्विटर पे तो क्या क्या नहीं चलता आजकल भाई, तुम देख ही रहे हो भाई क्या चल रहा है. बट आई मीन आई डजंट मैटर, एवरीबॉडी इज ट्राइंग देयर बेस्ट. या
हम्म.
कंपेयरिंग कि भाई अब किसने ज्यादा एफर्ट डाला, किसने 4 घंटे दिए, किसने 4.5 घंटे दिए, लाइक इट डजंट मेक सेंस टू मी एटलीस्ट. And meanwhile, the game should start in about 1.5 minutes. And Prague
Yep.
Magnus, Saj, what do you expect in this game now? Prague, I mean, he could
Pure
defeat Magnus and
chaos.
suddenly, I don't know, like in quotes, like steal the thunder, right? Because is turn pe itni attention hai. And if he somehow wins a few games, like 4-5 in a row, and somehow wins this event, it could be a huge boost, I think, to his confidence and also the media attention around it.
Definitely. I think this is pure chaos. I think loading. Pehli chal, I think would be, for me it's E4 because it's
हाँ,
Prague.
E4.
For sure, I think E4. वो B3 तो नहीं
Prague,
खेलेगा मैग्नस के साथ obviously.
हाँ, Prague तो E4, I think. Prague will choose E4, that's my guess. Who did Mikhail Tola Magnus? Why Magnus, yaar? Hands down, hands up, hands to the sideways. Magnus, no doubt.
Okay, I think one more minute loading.
Do Prague got chance against Magnus? Of course he does, yaar. I mean, Magnus को Prague से ज़्यादा Indians में किसी ने नहीं हराया, so I think he definitely has a chance. Especially in Blitz, तो बिल्कुल, I think there's a chance.
Very good chance. Very good chance. 5+2 भी है तो it's good.
क्या कितना अच्छा लगता है, सहज भाई से ज़्यादा सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. बहुत अच्छा लगता है भाई कई बार.
भाई हमेशा ही आपको ज्यादा सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. What are you saying?
नहीं, I think
People
अच्छी
ask
बात
you
है.
more questions for
अच्छी
sure.
बात है, आपने पढ़ा नहीं शायद, but anyways. Oh, B3 played Prague by the way against Magnus.
By
भाई
respect,
साहब.
respect. Let's go. B3
That's
against Magnus.
interesting. So Adiban can finally retire now, but E3 played
Vaibhav Suri is
G6.
smiling at this exact moment somewhere in the world. I just know it. Nice. Okay, G6 is a slight surprise, I would say, for Prague. Not really a mainstream line, and usually you play knight e7 or d5 in this position
But
as black,
I
or
think I've
knight f6
seen
as well.
Carlson play this. I've seen Carlson play this. I think he likes the setup, I think, as black against B3. So I've definitely seen it before. It might be online chess though, maybe where I've seen it, like SEC or something. But whatever, I think Prague should have seen this likely before, but he is taking his time. C4, okay. Bishop G7, Knight F3, very logical so far. Sarich, by the way, slightly better against Duda already. तो सारिज भाई ये बेटर पोजीशन कैसे ले लेते हैं यार ओपनिंग में ही हमेशा?
I think he has a very compact repertoire है सब players के साथ. Like he must have prepared a lot in the opening phase to not go and not wander off in like some unknown territory. जैसे अभी Prag B3 खेला, that is completely unknown. Like black can play anything. Like आप उसको सब कुछ prepare नहीं कर सकते B3 games. There's so many options. But उसका repertoire थोड़ा limited है, तो that's why he's able to get more. If Prag does the same thing, then he will become too predictable. It's harder to win, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a higher rated player. So
And by the way,
knight
knight
G7.
E7, keeping the bishop open, D4 played, center में break ले लिया, मारेंगे of course. And do you oh, he takes with the knight. Okay.
Yeah, taking with the knight was the best. Bishop E2
Should
now
we
and short
take
castle.
and take? Like just exchange the bishops?
No, because I think I like DC6 for black there. And somehow वो endgame में मुझे black थोड़ा ज़्यादा interesting लग रहा है. Even knight C6 भी ठीक ही लग रहा है. You keep the knight on D4 because your knight is more superior right now. You go short castle, knight C3 आराम से. See, black is the one taking on D4.
Okay, D5 played,
D5.
central break. Maybe knight C3 now. Let's develop a
D takes
piece.
C4.
Then maybe just either queen C4 or queen D at bishop C4. Maybe it's equal. Draw. I'm happy against Magnus. Gukesh game. One look we can have, of course, yaar, aaj is wale ke liye, of course. Oh, he has a decent position actually, Sahaj, but looks very complicated though. G5 ऐसा फेंका हुआ उसने.
Gukesh is, is out for blood right now. कुछ
And
crazy सा
time
attack
पे आ
आने
गया
वाला है
भाई.
side पे.
Maybe that is the
That's
trick. We
nice.
don't look at his game, Sahaj bhai. I told you earlier only. Let's focus on Prag's game.
छोड़ दो.
Let's see if he wins.
He will
Let's
do
see
well.
if he wins. ठीक है? Let's see if he wins. Just you were played. Okay, now C6 I think.
तो अगर
Just
if he
kind of.
wins, then should we blame ourselves? क्योंकि हम गुकेश
Then
का
we
गेम
don't
देख
blame
रहे थे
ourselves.
उसमें.
I think then we focus on Prag's game more in the next round. See if he wins again. If he wins
Hmm.
again, then we have evidence.
Yes, I would say slight prefer, like I prefer this position slightly for Prag. क्योंकि वो बिशप अभी e6 पे नहीं आ रहा. बिशप e6 पे आता होता तो maybe it's more or less equal. Knight
He's
f5, nice
trying.
move. Maybe to play knight
Knight
d6 and
d6,
kick the bishop.
forcing. Yeah, and bishop
Yeah, and then
f5, exchanging bishops.
Exactly.
Then, maybe.
Perfect.
Okay, super important. I think for Prag to not fall behind on the clock. अभी 20 second आगे है. We can probably just play rook c1. Should you castle or play king e2 यहाँ पे Saj? I'm thinking let's just play king e2 and then rook d1 maybe.
Knight d6, okay. And rook d1 probably is also looking interesting, just to pin the rook and not having to move the bishop. Oh, but then there's bishop g4 check. And then you take on c4. So probably not. The bishop
आ गया
finds
finally.
its way. Yeah.
d1.
Now black is comfortable, I think.
Chat क्या लग रहा है? Prag win draw loss. Spam कर दो भाई. Final prediction. Come on chat, let's go. Let's make a prediction now. And I think Gukesh d1 आएगा बहुत जल्दी on the board. Prag should not take too much time here because the game is not that crazy. Yeah, it's very simple game. I mean,
Nothing draw लग रहा है.
हाँ, draw very likely. वही
सबसे
मैं कह रहा
ज्यादा
हूँ. I think
chances है.
very unlikely either side wins this.
ऐसी पोजीशन में मैग्नस को भी हराना is not an easy task. I mean, I'm somehow calculating some ideas with f4, e4, but of course you're not going to allow bishop g4 check. Maybe you start with h3 or something, and then you play f4, or you can just kind of simplify the position with knight e4 as well.
Yeah. Ooh, he prevents
Black
that
plays
completely.
Yeah,
e4 रोक
golden
दिया, knight
pawn.
e4 रोक दिया. Win, draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss. Everybody has different answers. And look at the accuracy. 99 for Magnus, 99.1 and 98.8 for Prag. So perfect chess खेल रहे हैं अभी दोनों.
h4, nice move.
I like you can see chat. Light square पे pawns, light square bishop. मतलब this is a bad bishop. Usually a bad bishop. Okay, g3. Can we go? But there might be f4 ideas. I don't know.
नहीं f4 में तो j4 में था,
f3
so
है.
no worries. g3 is fine, no problems. Black भी थोड़ा
h5.
g5.
Yeah, I was also thinking g5, but he didn't play it. King f6. Now definitely g5, even more likely. Probably we should take, and then do we go rook h1?
Rook h1, rook h8 also you can play kind of. Or you can play rook d7 as well to just not allow the rook on the 7th rank. They both seem logical.
He takes, rook h1 could happen, played, rook h8 आ सकता है, I think, to challenge that rook. Although there is no entry point right now, rook d7 के बाद. So you could just play rook d7 and double up rooks. Oh, knight f7 played. So he uses the knight for the defense, opens up the attack on the bishop. Knight e5 भी आ सकता है to attack the bishop again. By the way, 40 seconds, 50 seconds behind on the clock. Prag almost a minute behind now. He has to be careful. Gukesh, by the way, is again worse. He's again worse. I'm not gonna. I want to go there. Actually, जाना ही पड़ेगा Saj bhai. Hard to avoid it. I think this is very much. C5 was the mistake. Bishop a1, rook d8, rook d1, and somehow Gukesh is worse. Although time is equal. Time is equal, but he is worse. White के pieces बहुत ही बढ़िया लग रहे हैं. So going
also
back
that
to the
knight
game,
h5, knight f6 check wala plan thoda. Oh, knight h5 played. It's a
he
mistake
played.
actually.
That's a mistake. Wow.
ठीक है भाई. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
You and Fabi thinking in the same direction.
Yeah.
Okay, he plays rook cd1. दूसरा rook भी game में आ चुका है. And now Magnus will start expanding on the queen side, I feel. Like he will start pushing these pawns one by one.
Yeah, I think he's going to take it really slow. Rook d7, rook d8, aram se b6, c5. Maybe even a5, a4 looks good, but he's going to see what he does. Something like e4 can be a bit dangerous also, Silo, because black can play f4 maybe. And then knight d5 में बैठ जाएगा.
Yeah. And then, you have a pass pawn here and black just plays for the next, I don't know, 50 moves.
Magnus also maintaining that 1 minute advantage. Wow, he plays f4. He sees that f4 wala plan. And he says f4 himself. Let's go.
But g3 is not likely now. So maybe what do we do? Maybe king f2, king f3 he plays. Okay.
Now you start looking at the queen side. Yeah, maybe you start pushing something a5 or b6. But
Yeah.
e4 can also e4 is I think a dangerous move by white here. E4 से position थोड़ी
That's why he
simplify हो
takes.
रही है.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
takes and now
yeah.
pawn se marna zaruri, I think.
Now he has to play g4, which is not as like it's not as nice to play g4.
Yeah, very likely a draw though. I think very likely a draw, chat. Very likely a draw. ये वाला.
Or Magnus finds a way to put him in
भाई
time pressure and that can be scary.
शुभ बोलो भाई, शुभ बोलो. Guki has gone mad. इसका क्या मतलब है भाई? Let's have a look. So knight h5, b6, g4 was the best move, Sahaj. Wow. Okay, Fabi missed that only move. Now g4 played a black, knight g3 back, knight e7, rook d6, takes, bishop a1, rook a1, knight c6. बहुत crazy game लग रही है, Sahaj. Who's better?
White for sure because of the bishop, but also it's very easy to go wrong as white here as well. Like I really am scared of losing the b3 pawn.
Because c pawn फिर pass pawn हो जाएगा. That's dangerous for sure. Also knight e5, yeah? This knight you can have bishop b5. Okay, knight e5 only move now. I mean, not the only move, but yeah, the best move. Blade. By the way, Karuna ka time below 1 minute now.
Okay.
Interesting.
Decent sign. Rook c1. Or queen c3 also looks good.
By the way, Firouzja winning against Wesley so he's gonna extend his lead over Prague unless Prague also defeats Magnus, which is not gonna be easy.
I think Fabi playing my moves, yeah? Queen c3 again on the board. Queen f6
Queen f6
maybe?
only move. Or Queen g7, yeah. You had to
Same thing.
like that.
Rook c1. Knight f3 check का threat था, so he defends that c3 queen. He protects
Knight f7.
it.
Nice move. Attacks the pawn and defends the queen with the king. And now it's a queen trade offer, which I don't think white should take, yeah? I'm guessing.
Yeah, queen d2 makes a lot of sense. Problem is अगर आपने d7 इधर आपने d7 खेल दिया ना तो you can never go bishop d7 because f5 pawn is always hanging. But yeah, Fabi has has low time.
He played and queen d2 on the board. Fabi putting pressure on Gukesh now.
Wow.
Plug game. देखते हैं क्या चल रहा है. Plug game. Magnus pushes the pawn all the way to a3, Sahaj. It's very clear what he's keeping in mind, yeah? He could have c5, I don't know, at some moment.
Prag's time is the only worry for me because he has like 15 seconds on the clock.
भाई Prag draw तो चाहिए कम से कम. Why not knight b1, knight a3? 8 seconds. 7, 6. Bhai 4, 3. He played on 4 seconds, by the way. Putting pressure on that pawn. Nice move. Knight
e6,
b1.
okay.
Knight b1, fine cut. Knight c4 incoming, Saj. It's getting a bit...
Now it's getting a bit tricky. Especially with 5 seconds on the clock. It's looking very, very tricky. Very easy to go wrong here.
Yeah, it's getting a bit tricky now. Magnus with more time on the clock, I think probably the better chances.
I think Magnus has to find the c5 break at some point, like at the right moment. ताकि वो b4, b3 आए और a pawn will finally queen.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. If things go right for Magnus. So that's what he's looking at. That's what he's thinking about right now.
Exactly. And that's why white's piece is right. I mean, knight coming to d4 is very important. If you can take that bishop off, or at least take the c6 pawn, I think it will really help. And Magnus also low on the clock now.
हो क्या रहा है ये?
12 seconds, 11 seconds. Play c5. He's ready for it. Knight d4 only move. Plays it. Only move थी Prag के लिए.
8 seconds for Magnus. Whoa.
Knight c6, knight b4 maybe is the plan now. I don't know if that stops the pawns. Check.
Why not knight e5 check though?
You can take that. You can play that.
He goes knight b4, your plan. He plays your plan.
Bhai, I'm not sure if that's a good sign. That's the problem. Okay. Now I love rook c3. Keeping this pawn under a watchful eye. Oh, Prag is better. Bhai, Prag is better. He could win this.
Wait.
That's a mistake. 2
By
seconds.
time.
Play. Come on, Prag. Come on, you can win this. 4 seconds. Both players struggling right now. Prag's king is moving. He's better against Magnus. He could defeat the GOAT again. Can he do it?
Rook
Check.
A7 check,
King
king
comes here.
E6. He
Bishop
has.
E5. No, that's a mistake.
Rook E7
Nice.
check का threat. King F6 goes. Sidestep.
Oh, mistake. B4 missed by Prag. Oh, missed by Prag. Oh, he misses it. Arey yaar. Jaldi. 2 second. Yaar, he was winning, Sahaj. He was winning.
Oh,
What?
That's a blunder. No, he doesn't find
A2
it.
was winning on the spot. A2 was... Oh! What?
No. Abey yaar. He was so close. Knight C4 check is there and Knight B6. He was so close.
By Bishop Knight mate आने वाली है क्या? Knight D5.
नहीं, Knight D5 check. Yeah, simple. He will just resign here.
अरे यार जीत रहे थे यार. We were winning यार. Gukesh क्या हुआ? Gukesh drew. Wait, what?
Drew. अच्छा हुआ, ठीक है.
Wait. 1 second.
Wait, Gukesh was completely winning. Bhai, he was
he
minus.
missed Queen G7 check.
I'm sorry. What happened here? No, this is the wrong result. Gukesh won.
Wait, how
Gukesh
did he draw
won
this?
No, Gukesh is, yeah, I'm telling you, he
won. He won, right? He won.
Gukesh won, yes. It cannot be a draw. Fabi resigned.
But I see a draw in the result, so this should be winning, right? There is no way he...
Yeah. Fabi must have resigned. So Gukesh won for sure.
Oh, he won. So that's great. Gukesh at least won, right? That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's Magnus great. Also won, Sahaj bhai. Yeah, Prag could have won that game. Very hard, man, to beat Magnus. For Rook A6, एक move. By the way, पूरी game देखते भाई. I think we left it here, right? जहाँ पे देखा था. Knight F7, Queen D2, Knight H5 फिर से गलती करी उन्होंने. Bishop से pawn मिल गया हमें, and now
he has
black is back.
Free pawn, yeah. Free pawn.
Oh, still white is better somehow. Ooh, that was a mistake. But Fabi didn't play the best.
They both were playing on time pressure.
Yeah. Oh, that was the blunder actually. यहाँ पे apparently the best was like Queen C3, like trying to trade queens. But he plays this, but okay. I mean, check, takes the queen, check, and knight comes in and then it's over. So that means Gukesh has won his first game today and he will be on 15.5, I think. I think they will change the result. So that means he's in second place. Duda क्या हुआ? Duda का draw हुआ सारिज के साथ.
Duda का draw.
Got it.
I think Gukesh's board is wrong. It's wrong. Somehow it's wrong. It has to be wrong, no?
Yeah. I think it was a draw, I think. Or it was win for him, sorry. So 8 games in today, he has 1.5 points, yeah? And Magnus has... Magnus. 8 में से कितने हैं Magnus के भाई? Wait, why do I not see the player names? Something is hanky-panky going on with the boards. I don't see the Magnus player names somehow.
Magnus player name? I see it.
But I can't see it.
Magnus का किससे है, you mean?
So Magnus has
plays Sarich. Magnus plays Sarich in the last round.
So Magnus has 6.5 out of 8 today, Sahaj.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy, bhai, crazy.
And Firouzja is on 6 out of 8. Firouzja also won, right?
Wow. Yeah, I think he...
No, Firouzja lost. Firouzja
lost
to Wesley. Yeah, Firouzja lost. So Magnus has already won the Blitz section, basically. Oh, well, it's a day one. But yeah, you get what I mean. He's 1.5 points ahead of everyone else.
Bye. And, Magnus will play Sarich. He's likely to win that one. And he'll go to 17.5 points. Gukesh is 1 point behind. He has to beat Prag to be 1 point behind Magnus. But Prag will, of course, want to win as well. And I think Gukesh has the white pieces. Maybe he's a slight favorite there. Would you agree with that, or would you think Prag is favorite now? Because for the form he is at today.
Like, favorite in what sense?
Like, who do you think is favorite right now to win? Is it Gukesh or Prag?
Gukesh did win the last game, so probably that streak is